What's up, guys? Spinning Firearms here, and oh man, I might stir up some crap with this video right here. But before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. Tell me your thoughts on the Taurus GX4 and the Sig P365, which one you like better. It all comes down to preference, it all comes down to opinions, it all comes down to hand sizes and how you shoot. So what I believe and what I agree with may not be what you believe or agree with. But with that being said, let's get started. These handguns that you see in front of me actually have a lot in common, and they actually have not a lot in common as well. So they're very similar but different, and we're going to get into that. So if you guys know about the Sig P365 and so on, after this handgun came out, someone that was pretty high up at Sig, played a big role in the development of the P365, actually went over and was hired by Taurus. Not too long after that, we saw the Taurus GX4 came out, which in my opinion is the best handgun that Taurus makes. And we're going to get into that. But that's actually very interesting when it comes down to it, because we're going to get into something that is very similar about these two, and that's been issues. Upon release, both of them had issues. The Sig P365 had major issues when it came to its trigger springs, its ability to function properly when it comes to shooting. Just a bunch of stuff went wrong with the Sig P365, and I actually happen to be one of those people, and I only got the Sig P365 about a year and a half ago. So mine wasn't a new batch of the Gen 1s or anything like that. It's sort of something that I hear a lot of people talk about, is that Sauer, with their new polymer striker-fired handguns, is testing the reliability and the functions of their handguns on the population. They're beta testing it on the civilian population. And that is extremely wrong when it comes down to everyday carry and us. You are basically saying, here, test our handguns for us with your life. And that is a scary, scary thing. Also, Taurus. If you guys don't know, Taurus has had actually two major issues. One was the delayed striker issue when it first came out. Then recently, 5-6 months ago, whatever it was, there was the recall on them for not being drop safe. So we're going to get into that. They both have had a lot of issues regarding their triggers. But what makes these two handguns so great? A lot of it is their triggers. Their triggers are unbelievable for both handguns. Anyways, let's get into it. The Taurus GX4 has a terrible, terrible finish, but awesome, awesome ergonomics. Awesome, awesome texturing. Love the big back strap. Love the memory pads on it. It was a very well-made pistol. Awesome sights. It takes Glock pattern sights, so you can put any sight picture you could ever imagine on this handgun. And that's great. And all firearms are safety checked and cleared prior to the video, so we do not have to worry about that over here. But let's check out this trigger for a second, right? Notice how it went off when it was supposed to. Well, when I first got my Taurus GX4, I was actually beyond excited. I was so happy. It looked like the perfect handgun for me, and at the time, that's what I could afford. So I was really happy to see a Micro 9 come out that was very, very affordable. And regardless of the slide being absolute junk, because that's what it is, the rest of the handgun was very appealing to me, and it was to a lot of other people. And the fact that it afforded serrations, just shot really well, and like I said, that defensive trigger is dang near perfect. Let's take a look at that reset. But when I got home, I started dry firing it, right? As anyone with a handgun, they finally get home, they're like, okay, let's do this thing. This thing's awesome. Let's dry fire it. Let's see how this thing is. Well, I went and I pulled the trigger. Nothing, right? 15 seconds later, it goes off. I'm like, okay, that's really freaking weird. Maybe it's break-in, but that's sketchy. So I kept dry firing it all night. After about 30-40 times of doing it, same issue every single time. It had a delayed striker. Now imagine someone new to handguns, first time shooting. They go to the range with their brand new Taurus GX4, and they go, nothing goes off. And so they're like, huh, what the heck? And then boom, right? They don't know their gun safety. That is a very, very, very dangerous issue. I never was told what the issue was, but I went on YouTube and I researched it. I also went on some forums, and I saw that a lot of people were actually having that same issue. And it was really weird. Taurus kept it real low-key. When I called them, I'm like, is other people having this issue? I already knew other people were having this issue. But I asked them, are other people having this issue, and sending them in? And they said, oh, we haven't heard of this. That's weird. No, guys, you did know about this because I knew about it. You guys definitely knew about it. But I get it. There's, companies make mistakes. All this stuff's made by humans, so stuff happens, right? And with firearm safety and so on, that's why you always treat the handgun like it's loaded. Regardless, if nothing happens, that is the #1 time you should act like that handgun is ready to go off and leave it facing another direction, maybe put something behind it, and just leave it downrange, right? Because it's a little sketchy at that point, or just try and get that round out of the chamber. But in that case, it was a little sketchy with a delayed striker. But like I said, I never got to shoot a live round. Sent it to Taurus. They sent it back within 3 weeks. Since then, 100% reliable through 2 GX4s. Also, my GX4s were not on the drop safety list. Mine were fine. Mine were cleared. Mine are good to go. Mine are safe. So that's huge. But one really interesting about the Taurus GX4, other than that, is its price. It comes in at about $250. And with that price tag, you could get 2 of these for the price of 1 Sig P365. And if I could only have one of those 2 options, I would choose 2 Taurus GX4. I shoot the GX4 better. It fits my hand way better. Has great capacity. This is 11+1 with a flush mag. This is 10+1 with a flush mag. The Sig is a little bit shorter, but as you can see, the Taurus has that extra round. Just, you know, a solid handgun. And my Sig P365 had that major lockup issue where I was shooting it after 400 rounds. That slide locked back, not all the way, not on the slide stop, but locked back partially, and it was completely locked in. You couldn't pull back, you couldn't push forward, you couldn't bang it in. So I had to take it to my gunsmith for him to figure it out, and he actually took care of it. Found out that it was some out of spec springs, fixed it, and since then it's been 100% reliable. It's just the Sig P365 really made me nervous, as that issue was something that I looked up again on forums, and a lot of other people were having that issue. And it was out of spec springs, or it was even like the slide would, you know, you rack the slide and it would be just a little out of battery. And it's almost weird. Mine looks a little bit back right now. I didn't even notice that. Looks like the slide isn't all the way forward. But what do you call it? So there was other people having that same issue. And I just thought it was very interesting that these 2 handguns were created, like a major player in the creation of this created this. So I just thought that was very weird that they both had trigger issues. But you have to give it up to the people who made the P365. That's why we have the Shield Plus, the Hellcat, Masada Slim, FN Reflex, Taurus GX4, Kimber Mako R7, and I could go on Ruger Max 9. The list just goes on. So this right here created so many awesome handguns. Now, I like my SIGs for what they are. I don't carry them that often. I'm actually working on 2 builds, this one and another one right now. And they're turning out actually pretty nice. But in my opinion, I do like the Taurus GX4 better. I think it's a better shooting handgun. I think it just, I just trust it more for some reason. And it's weird saying that about such a cheap handgun, because I used to be so big and against budget handguns for carry until I started basically putting my other GX4 through the ringer. If you saw my other GX4, the slide is absolute trash, looks terrible. But at the same time, it's been reliable and just runs. And this one right here is one that I haven't shot a whole lot, and that slide already looks terrible. But the thing just functions. I love the Taurus GX4. I have nothing against it. And especially with the XL and the carry model and so on, they're just doing a great job. Taurus is really taking the firearms industry by storm with these affordable handguns for everyday hardworking Americans who just want to support their family. And like I said, Sig is responsible for so many great handguns. It's just I don't trust it 100%. But like I said, these 2 have a lot in common. 2 pretty decent handguns. Not my most carried. Probably won't ever be my most carried. But they're 2 solid handguns. And I know a lot of people who love their P365s. I know some people with like 40,000 rounds to their P365s. Not a single issue. So it just comes down to preference, reliability with this handgun. This handgun could run 100,000 rounds with never cleaning it. Blah, blah, blah. That would probably never happen. But I'm just saying it could. Whereas someone else can run 50 rounds and have major issues. It just depends on the handgun you got in your hands and how it was made, if the parts were in spec, and so on. But 2 awesome handguns nonetheless. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.